We Are Many Things is brought to you by North York Community House. North York Community House is an organization that builds strong, resilient, and inclusive communities in Northwest Toronto. Hello, my name is Sharron, and I am the host of the podcast, We Are Many Things. And this series is premised on the idea that communities are not monoliths, that they are an amalgam of shared and varied histories, traditions, languages, experiences, and so much more. But the labels that are used to describe them rarely capture their greatness. So this podcast aims to create a space where members of various communities can explore their shared and varied experiences and what makes their community wonderfully unique. So this season, we'll be showcasing the richness and the diversity that can be found within the Black community. This is episode 6 of We Are Many Things, and we are joined by my guests, Adyam, Casey, Rickysha, and Lionel. In this episode, we'll be discussing the value of building connections with other communities and what can be gained from those relationships, and the idea that difficult periods in our history can be reframed and seen as a source of inspiration as opposed to a reminder of victimhood. I hope you'll enjoy the conversation. How important is it to connect with people outside of our community, and what kinds of things can we do to build those relationships?
I can say very important. Very important to connect. I think it's help us grow. They help us build our own community as well, and bring changes. Continue to be innovative. Continue to do things differently than we are doing, like what we've been doing or what's not. Sharing knowledge and wisdom can bring that change. And I find that for some reason, we are holding too much on the path. I don't know if because this generation are being holding on to what our ancestors have been, dealing with or feeling with. I mean, there's a lot of what do you call it? The racism things is still like I feel like they're still holding on to that, and it's been still passing on. I don't know. Sometimes I think about it, I'm like, is this something that we should pass on? I mean, to a certain extent, yes, it's good that, to know that it's there. But again, holding on to that just set you back, I find. And, it's how do you move back past those things and do something different and trying to focus on your growth, your personal growth, your community growth, your family growth, and just be great, because there's certain things that you cannot change.
But can you let's say from my perspective, love history. I think we have a really interesting, really neat collective history, right? So I think, from my perspective, I think history is a wonderful thing, and I think however, there are parts of our history that are challenging, but you can be aware of that, but not be mired in it. Do you know what I mean? So what are your thoughts on history? Is it that we should not get caught up in the negative side of things? Like, what's your thought on that?
I think history is great. We can't change history, right? Learn from it and, use it in a positive way. But I find that a lot of times I find that our young folks now, it's like when they see that, it has some impact in their psychological mind, that when they encounter a white person or someone, automatically there's a guard there, Or let's say I'm seeing a mixed race, like let's say who knows, a black and a white or dating, already there's like a negative thought in the head, I'm like, and my thing is that, whatever our ancestors did, or whatever they went through, right? Or I mean, not us, I say whatever the white folks or the Caucasian, whoever, whatever they did in the past, we cannot blame their generation for that. We cannot punish their generation for what they what their ancestor did, right? They have no clue what happened, So my thing is that, unless some racism stuff or pass on to their children, and then their children still don't even know a clue of heck of what they're doing. My thing is that why we punish their generation for it? I don't know. I find that when we put that guard there, it's somewhat stop us from moving forward.
I was just gonna say that building off of his point, I think it's very important to acknowledge history, to know history, to learn from it. But it shouldn't hold us back, because I feel like in school sometimes they try to teach you history in the sense of making you victim, and have that kind of like pushes you into having a victim mentality, like I was oppressed, this happened to me. It's good to know that, but you have to say your past generations, your ancestors, they were oppressed, they had to go through all of these things, but what did they do? They didn't just stay there. They tried to conquer that, and they overcame that. And it's very important to not have the victim mentality, because that's just going to bring you down. You're always saying, oh, this happened to me, there's worse things happening. And it's not that to compare your problems, but it's important to move past history and to create new history for yourself, to create something new that people are going to look back and be like, oh, this person conquered that. They didn't just stay where this is happening to me, but they kind of overcame the struggles that they had to go through.
So what you're saying is it's important to know your history and to use it in a way that empowers you. For instance, looking at the trajectory of your community, both the highs and the lows, and then seeing what we can learn from it, and not getting mired in the negativity and in developing a victim mentality, but rather using our stories and our history as a source of inspiration and insight.
It's funny too, because it happened a couple of weeks ago. My cousin called me, and he was, we were having this discussion about it. And like, I think he was watching one of those movies. He see a white person, wearing a traditional clothing, and then he would be like, oh, why this guy is wearing this and this so and such, and acting like he's African and so on and so forth. In my head, I'm like, don't, what's it called? Don't school him for that, If Black history, it's so important to you, and Black History Month is so important to you, why aren't you wearing the, traditional clothes? Or why aren't you wearing anything that is traditional to represent that? But you're not. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, again, it's the way we see history and the way you, take in the information can definitely affect your mood, can affect your, your behavior and so on and so forth. So it's, learn it and understand it, but don't let that affect you.
I just want to say that Black history is history for all. It is not just for Black people and Black communities. It's all of our history. Black history highlights our contributions to the world, as well as celebrates our diversity and accomplishments.
Okay. That's a great way to end this conversation. Thank you very much for that, Rickysha. Okay, so what advice would you give a young person or a newcomer coming up in our community?
Be innovative, be open-minded, simply because you're living now in a world where things are hard, hard in the sense like financially is hard, trying to make a living for yourself is hard. Everybody is for themselves. We're not in a world where I'm going to take care of you, you're going to take care of me. So now it's like you have to be innovative. You got to be able to learn how to build a sustainable life. A long-term, you got to think about long-term goal, build a foundation, how to create wealth for yourself for the long term, for retirement. These are things that you're going to have to think about. Yeah, live life, be happy, create your own happiness, be your own happiness, have your own value, set up a value for yourself, a goal for yourself. Be something that you can leave a mark, for your generation to generation.
I think believe in yourself, know your worth. Don't wait for someone else to validate the things that you do. Know that what you do is good enough because you did it. It may not be good enough for the next person, but did you do your best? If you did your best, I don't think anybody can fault you for that. Ask questions, no matter if you think it is a stupid question. Ask questions. Keep fighting for what you believe in. And try to build wealth, not only for yourself, but for the next generation. Because from where I come from, that wasn't a stepping stone for us. We had to start from scratch. So find a way to leave your mark on the world. That is some of my advice for the next generation.
Adyam?
I would say, please don't take things personally. Like, people aren't probably thinking about you as much as you're thinking about yourself, and people have their own lives. And if someone says something to you, don't take it personally. Don't stress yourself over it. Because personally, for me, I struggle with like overthinking and what people say, and I feel like this generation is like very big on that. We overthink a lot of things. I think it's because we have too many opinions, and we kind of want to please everyone. For me personally, I want to please everyone, and I overthink, like, when this person acted like this, did I do something? Was I like, I think about all of these things, and I think it's important to learn that you don't take things personally that people say. At the end of the day, it's you, it's your life. You do whatever you want to do that aligns with your values, with your goals, with how you want to end up in life. And just care about what people think to a certain extent, that it can help you grow. Constructive criticism, it can help you be a better person, but don't take things personally. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Rickysha.
The advice I would give a younger person or newcomer coming up in our community is just be yourself. Be strong, and of course, represent yourself. Embrace your culture and be strong in your values. I think those are the key things I would tell a younger person. I think it's very important just to realize who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, and not be pressured by society of what other people think who you should be. I also think you should always strive to be the better version of yourself.
Okay, thank you for that.
I know the discussion is around positive advice for the community, but what I'm proud of is our young people knowing their worth and their boundaries, where they will tell you, no, I'm not doing this because it will affect my mental health, or yes, I am able to do it. So I am really proud of them for doing that.
Yeah, actually, that makes me think of just advocacy, that just learning. They have to sort of learn, I would say, learn how to advocate for yourself and speak up for yourself, which is what that is, it seems like. And then also educate yourself, like, learn as much as you can, just educate yourself. If you have an education, that affords you a lot of opportunities. So I would say that. And for me, it's like, learn your history. I think that is so important. The other thing is, try to tell yourself the truth. Because sometimes, there's a lot of wonderful things that we should acknowledge in ourselves, and there's also things that need a little bit of work, right? So I think tell yourself the truth, and we don't have to be perfect, but we should be able to, have an honest dialogue with ourselves, and try to learn how things actually work. Talk to people and find out how things work. What are the rules of the game? That's something that I'm thinking of. Lionel, did you want to say something?
I think I was saying not to regret anything. No, never regret anything. Don't look too much in the back. I mean, glance back, but keep moving forward.
And mistakes are there to be made. There's teaching mechanisms to know, okay, I did that. I failed. Let me try something else, or let me do it over.
I feel like it's also like really important what you said. It's important like to know that we're not perfect, because I feel like at this time everyone's like, oh, everyone's perfect in their own way. Like you can be perfect, and I don't believe that. Like we're all humans. We make mistakes. We have things to improve, and that's the reality. And it's important to acknowledge that. You can't be like, oh, I don't want people challenging my thoughts because I'm perfect the way. No, you're not. It's obvious that no one's perfect, and we should all work towards bettering ourselves and becoming a better version. Yeah.
That's great advice, everyone. This podcast is brought to you by North York Community House. North York Community House builds strong, resilient, and inclusive communities in Northwest Toronto. We help children, youth, parents, and seniors become active, engaged citizens who lead positive change in their neighborhoods. Find us at nych.ca. See you next time.